This is going to be another practice of running existing Python code. We've been seeing in this playlist, we've been seeing different projects when we go and execute Python script, create virtual environments and things like that, with, without. In this one, we're going to do it with. And in this one, we're going to run an application, not just a Python script, right? The full to-do application. What you see here is a to-do app that works. And it is in GitHub, and I'm going to give you the code and we're going to run it. This is again part of my Python course. Initially, I'm adding those sections to run code before we write code, just to get warmed up and be able to understand the navigation and execution of code before we get to the complications of writing code. So this is just a raw video straight from the course. Enjoy it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to help. So enjoy. All right, here is another practice running existing Python code. In this case, we are going to run a web application. So far, we ran just simple standalone Python scripts. Right now, we're going to run this to-do app. What you see here is a to-do app, a very simple Python application that I built. We're going to run it. You're going to be able to see this right there on your machine. As you can see, it is running on my localhost. 127.0.0.1 means it's running on my system. It is localhost. And the code is here in GitHub, and I'm going to put this in the description. You have the link. So what we're going to do is, as always, we're trying to practice downloading code and basically creating a virtual environment, installing dependencies, and running the code. So there's nothing special about it just because it is a web application. It's going to be the exact same process, so we're going to do that, okay? And we're going to move quicker on this one, and we're just going to get it done. At the end of the process, our goal is to see the application running in our system. Right now it's running on 5152. That's the port. It's going to run on different one on yours. It's going to be like this, 5151. But I'll explain it because you might have 5151 already being used by something else. So that's a problem. So I'm going to explain to you how to solve it. Let's start. So the first thing is we're going to download the code. So when I say you download the code, I'm assuming this is the initial part of your learning, so you don't know how to use Git. So we're just going to do the download part. If you are already familiar with Git, what I want you to do is do a Git clone. So normally somebody will say, hey, clone this repository. That's what somebody's going to tell you. If you go to a job, first day of the job, and let's say you're working for at the company that builds this app, the first thing they're going to ask you is, hey, clone this repository. So if you know Git, you know what that means. Right now, we're going to do download zip, and we can do it on Windows also. In fact, okay, let me say save here. Let me get the URL. Since it's easy, we're going to do it both on Windows and a Mac. So we're going to download this as well, download zip, and it's going to download it right here. All right. So now once it's downloaded, again, I don't want you to start working on it right there in the download folder. I want you to be organized. I want you to consciously move the files or the project somewhere that you're going to stay organized. I want you to do that consciously because so you get into the habit of being organized, right? If you just leave it in downloads, that's not a good practice. It would work. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not a good practice. So I'm going to unzip it, okay? Then I'm going to copy the whole folder. To do app Flask demo main, I'm going to say copy. I'm going to go to desktop. I have this my projects folder. Let's say I want to put it there. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to say paste item. Okay. I probably could have just cut it instead of copying it. Okay. Why is that? Let me go back to downloads. I'm going to use my shortcut command. Oh, it's there. I already did it. It's just a little long. Okay. Now I'm going to open this in VS Code. As I always do, I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code. No matter what you see, when you open Visual Studio Code, you might see the welcome screen, you might see another project, whatever you have, right? You might see something like this because this is a project that was open already. Or you might see, let's see if I can do a welcome. If I do new window, you might see something like this. Just go to File, Open Folder, and we're going to go to the folder where the project we just downloaded. I put it in Desktop, My Projects, and this To Do App Flask, right? Open that. There we go. So we just opened the project. That's all we did. We go to Windows. It's the same concept. We're going to go to my downloads. In downloads, I'm going to see it downloaded, the To Do App Flask. It's a zip. So I'm going to, let's see. I double click it by accident. What I want to do here is I want to do extract. I want to say extract. All right. So I'm going to go to the extracted folder. This guy here, did it finish? I think it finished. It's going to do 2 folders deep. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say copy. I'm going to go to desktop. And my projects, I have the same thing. My projects, I want to put it here. Copy, paste. Okay, so I put it into the folder there where I want it. I'm going to go to VS Code. It doesn't matter what screen you're in. Then I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Open Folder. And I'm going to go find that folder. So I'm in Desktop, My Projects, To Do App Flask. Select folder, and the project is open. The same exact thing, right? Just stress this. All right, I have the file structure here. On my Mac, I have the file structure here. So I'm going to open a terminal. So on my Mac, as soon as I open terminal, it doesn't matter which type of terminal it opens. It might open Bash, it might open Z Shell or anything. On Windows though, you have to be careful. When you open the terminal, okay, by default, it might open PowerShell. Most likely will open PowerShell. If it says PS right here as PowerShell, you can also see it here. So hit the drop down and click on command prompt so you get the command prompt. There's different types of shells on Windows. So now I have command prompt. All right, so both of them are ready. Now the first thing is to create a virtual environment. So let's look at the instructions here. We look at the documentation. I created this repository, it's to-do app specifically for this video. I had another one and I just, took some parts out of it and made it just for this video. So it's just focusing on setting it up and running it. So it says go to the folder. Okay, that's where we are. Create a virtual environment, right? So the virtual environment is going to be Python 3-m venv. This is the command. Now we're going to give it the name of the virtual environment. I'm going to call it venv to do. You can just leave it as venv as an example. Venv, the first part is the command here, and this is just the name of the folder or the virtual environment. Hit enter. This is going to just take a few seconds. It's going to create it. Voila, it's done, right? You can see it created right there. And if you do ls-la, you can see that it's created, or you can just do ls. Depends on how you like to work. I like ls-la. You can see it is created. Let's activate it. We're going to do source venv to do bin activate. Okay, as you can see, our virtual environment is activated. Now we need to install the dependencies. So when you look at our requirements.txt, there are 3 different libraries, right? I made this on purpose. I added this too, but if we just do Flask by itself, like normally you would just have Flask and that would download the rest of them. But just to show you the idea of what a normal requirements.txt would look like with different dependencies, I created this. So there's 3 different libraries in there with specific versions. So I'm going to do pip install -r requirements.txt. Make sure your virtual environment is activated. One thing you can do to see, you can visually see it here, but if you do which, I just did Control-C to kill my command. This pip install -r requirements, I never run it. I never hit enter, right? Students get confused on the video because what just happened? I typed it, I never hit the enter, I never executed. So I just want to get rid of it. So instead of hitting the back, deleting it, I just hit Control-C, which will just kill it and go to the next line. I did that because I wanted to show another command. I want to show you which Python. If I do which Python, the path that shows up here should be the virtual environment path. To do app Flask demo, venv to do bin Python. It's telling me this is the Python I'm going to use. When you run the Python command right now or a pip command, this is what I'm going to use. So this is one way to check if the virtual environment is activated or not. If I was not inside of the virtual environment, when I do which Python, it would have showed me my system path. The Python that's for my system, okay? That's just a little side note. So I'm going to pip install -r requirements.txt. And that's going to install those 3 things, right? Plus more. If we do pip freeze, you see that's everything that is installed. Okay, so we are ready to go. Let's go do it on Windows real quick too. So here I just need to create a virtual environment, which is just run the command, right? I'm in the right place. I'm in the to-do app Flask folder. If I do dir, I can see what's in here, right? There's no virtual environment. So let me clear that and I can do Python. I don't have to do Python 3 because I'm on my Windows. Python -m venv to do. Hit enter. This is going to create the virtual environment. It's going to take a little bit of time on Windows for some reason. I'm pretty sure it has to do with my system. I don't have a great one, just a simple small $100 Windows just for demoing purpose. I'm just going to wait for it a little bit. You can see it here, right? The folder is right here. You can see it inside of the scripts. All those stuff are there. Now it's done. Before the activate wouldn't be there. It is done. So let's activate it. On Windows to activate it, you just type in the name of the virtual environment, venv to do /scripts /activate with lowercase. There's a bunch of activates ones for PowerShell and for, let me see, activate. I think those 2 are the same actually. So I can do activate.bat, hit enter. Now this is activated. Again, just like the which command, you can do where Python. That would show you the first one that shows up. In Windows, when you do where Python, it shows you all available Pythons. But the first one that shows up is the one that's going to use. Here we can see it's going to use the virtual environment one. So we know our virtual environment is good. Now all we have to do is install. Pip install -r requirements.txt. Hit enter, and there you go. It is installing. Okay, while this is going, now once that is done, the next thing is to just run the application. So we look at the instruction, create the virtual environment, activate the virtual environment, and run the application with Python app.py. See, there is an app.py. To run the application, all we have to do is run this app.py. So let me clear that. Let me do Python 3 to be explicit. Python 3 app.py, hit enter. And if you start seeing this, that means the application is running. Okay, that's your success. And you should. I don't see any reason. The only reason you might fail is if the port is being used already. If you have other applications that you run on 5151, it will fail. I will show you how to fix that shortly. So you can control click this or just copy the whole thing. I mean, command click or copy the whole thing. 127.0.0.1, 51.51. Go to the terminal, go to your browser and open it and just hit enter. Ta-da. Right, and navigate to the application is working. You can do view tasks, you can see the tasks, you can go to create task, you can create any task you want. It works. It's an actual to-do app that works. The tasks are saved as files locally. So the application works. Back to home, the application works, it's running. That's it. So we just got there. We're going to do it on Windows one more time, but we literally went and run the application. Let's do the window part and I'll show you what happens if the port is used already. So on Windows, the same thing, we installed the dependencies, right, in the terminal. You can use a standalone command prompt if you want, by the way. I'm using the integrated to VS Code, Visual Studio Code. CLS. So after we install the dependency, what do we have to do? We just run the Python script, right? So we're going to do Python app.py, hit enter, and it's going to be the same thing. It's a whole different computer, so I'm not going to have issues with the port. Allow access, sure. Then the same thing, highlight this guy. I don't know if you can copy it. Let me see. I'm going to use the shortcut. So we're going to go here. And let's see if it worked. There you go. Okay. 127.0.0.1, 51.51. This is the application running on my system. I'm treating my computer as a server, which is a local host. So it's a web server. You know, that's just a whole different thing. But the software is running on my machine. This actual application, I can create tasks and everything. Now the issue is, so we're going to just do this on a Mac. So you get the idea, right? Hopefully you understood how to run it. Let me know if not. Now let's say this application is already running. I'm just going to open a new terminal and I'm going to try to run it, right? The virtual environment, it automatically activated it for me when I open a new terminal. It's just smart enough. Now I'm just going to try to run it because in this virtual environment, all the dependencies are already installed. I don't have to install again. If I create a new virtual environment, I would need to install all the dependencies. But the same virtual environment, I just have to activate it. But VS Code, when you open a new terminal, it already knows you have a virtual environment in this project. So it's just going to activate it. So it activated it here, right? So now all I have to do is run the application. So if I do Python app.py, I expect this to fail. Hit enter. It's going to say port 5151 is in use by another program. Right? So the first time I run it, nothing else on my computer is using that port. So no issue. Now I already have it running in one terminal. I have the same application running in one terminal using the port. You can think of the port as like a doorway into a unit, right? You have the server, which is like an apartment unit. You have the address. The address of the apartment unit is localhost or 127.0.0.1. Once you get to that apartment, you have units. Each unit has a port number. So my computer is 127.0.0.1. That's a server. That's where the application is running. One of the doors, 5151, this one is using it. Now I have another application running. I cannot run another application on the same door on 5151. It's used. So I have to run it in a different application. So for that, I would have to go into the application itself and change the code. So here in the app.py, all the way at the bottom, line 84, it says 5151. Let's do 5153, right? And try to run it again. Now it's going to run, no issues, because that port, nobody's using that port. The first one might fail. It depends on what's happening here. It did not, still running. But now I can run it at 5153. Now if I open the browser and go to 5153, it runs, right? So in case the application by default, when you download the code, it's using 5151. But in your machine, in your laptop, in your Mac, in Windows, Linux, wherever you are, 5151 might be used already. You might have some other application you ran before. Unlikely, but it is possible. So you might get an error saying, hey, that port is used, like we just did here, right? Then all you have to do is open this app.py and change the port all the way at the last line of the application. It says port 5151, change it to some other port. Try 5152, or just keep going up like that, okay? So as easy as that. What did we do? We downloaded the code. We opened the folder in VS Code. You can do PyCharm if you want. Then we opened the terminal. We created a virtual environment, activated the virtual environment, installed the dependencies, and run the application. Simple as that, right? That is what we're trying to get with these videos. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep practicing. If all of this is simple, don't worry about it. You can just go to the next section. If you feel like you're getting value from this, go do the next one. The next one is going to be automation. Nice. So we did a bunch of standalone scripts, just scripts by themselves. Then we did scripts that needs dependencies like a Selenium and requests. Then we ran an application, a web application now. The next thing is going to be an automation framework. We're going to run a full automation framework, like a dummy one, but the way you do it is the same thing. We need to install dependencies, run some code, and we're going to see like test fail, test pass, right? We're going to do two of them. One is going to be PyTest. The other one is going to be robot framework. This is very useful for somebody who's already like a manual tester, and at your company, you are a manual tester, you're doing testing manually, but you know the company has automation and you want to run that automation, right? You don't have to know how to write code. You don't have to know how to write automation, but if you know how to run Python, you should be able to run the automation. You might not write it, but you can run it, right? That's the whole point. So in the next video, we're going to do that. So I'll see you on that one.